Giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham, Rachak, Kodash, double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, wherever you may be. Wherever you may be, Shalom, Yashua, Shalom. All right, going to get into another AI chat. It should be super brief. It's a real short article that I saved yesterday. So I'm just finishing my walk, so I want to get into it real quick. So it says micro scale brain, and it says from April 8th, which is what, a day or two ago, whatever the date is now. I think it's like the 10th, 11th, somewhere around there. All right, well, yeah, not too far back, 2-3 days ago. So it says micro scale brain computer interface, like micro scale, all right, micro scale brain computer interface, all right, micro scale BCI is small enough to be placed between hair follicles. Now, this is not like it's brand new, because we've talked about when you go into Synchron and Neuralink, and their brain, and as we always go into, or quote anyways, Second Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get in advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Ignorant means not to know, all right? The word of the name Satan in Hebrew is Shaitan, which means adversary, right? Who are adversaries? All of the nations are adversaries, but the scriptures speak about the horn of our adversaries. In other words, the number one adversary, which is Esau, who is Edom, all right? Or the Edomites as a whole, the nation of people. Okay? So, lest Satan, the adversary, should get an advantage of us, for we're not ignorant of his devices. And this is in line with his devices in his AI chat, which is why we do these. Okay? So, going back to my point, we mentioned a few times before how when you're going into their brain devices that connect, to your whole system up there upstairs, those wires are thinner than a follicle of hair. Okay, and here's just yet another article backing up that particular point, the truth of it. Okay, so it says micro scale brain computer interface is small enough to be placed between hair follicles. Now, that right there, what on that person's finger, doesn't even look, the size. But then again, you got to think about it. It's probably, blown up to a certain, degree there. Because if you look, you can see the patterns on that person's finger, whatever finger it's on. You can see the pattern. And so if you can see the pattern that well, just imagine if it was zoomed out, how it would look on your finger right now. That's super tiny. Okay, which is why they also need, robotic incision, all right, to even do it, because human hands aren't steady enough to even implant the device in your brain. So they have a computer implanting the computer in your brain, all right. They have AI doing, this job. So it says a team of engineers at Georgia Institute of Technology's Wearable Intelligence Systems and Healthcare Center, working with colleagues affiliated with several institutions in South Korea, has developed a micro-scale brain-computer interface that is small enough to be placed between hair follicles on a user's head. Now, this is the first time I ever heard, about anything centered in South Korea, or Korea, period, anyone, North or South. And this is from Neuroscience Biomedical Technology, it says here. All right, so it goes on to say, so look at that, check that out, all right, hair follicles, and you see this little device, or not little, well, it is a little device, but I mean the wires, right, the wires that they use for Neuralink and Synchron and all these different devices for your brain is thinner than a hair follicle, all right, so that's what, the other picture was going into. You really look at the scale of it, you can tell that the picture is blown up, because you can see the, that person's personal finger pattern, whatever, I forget, fingerprint or whatever, all right? So the wires are thinner than a follicle of hair, which is why we just mentioned how they need a machine to put it in the person's head in the first place, because the human hands just aren't steady enough, all right? So don't think Elon Musk is, doing it with his hands. His people over his company are doing it with their hands. They're not, all right? Any company for that matter, they're not doing it with their hands. Everybody that's dabbling with this technology. So it says in their paper, published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, the group describes how they made their interface, how it attaches to other hardware to allow, my screen's cracked, it says readings to be captured, and how well it worked during testing. All right, over the past several decades, brain-computer interface, or BCIs, have been developed that are capable of reading brain waves and responding to them in useful ways. These devices can be used to control a cursor or a computer screen, for example, or to choose buttons to press. Such devices are still in limited use, however, mainly due to their bulky nature. In this new effort, the researchers have developed a sensor so small it can be placed on the scalp between hair follicles. So they're a little bit behind Synchron and Neuralink and whatever other companies. They're a little bit behind because they haven't figured out how to get that technology that small but still be workable, right? But you see, this nasty little picture here. It says the sensors are made of cross-shaped resin with microscale. I'm trying to move it because my screen is cracked. I was trying to keep the picture on the screen, but at the same time, my screen is cracked. So it says the sensors are made of cross-shaped resin with microscale spikes. The spikes poke through some of the skin when the sensor is pushed onto the scalp. Each sensor is also connected to what the team describes as a serpentine inconnector. All right. In other words, in the shape of a serpent, or like you have in a car, a serpentine belt. All right. And when you see the shape of it, it coils like a serpent, like a snake. All right. So it says each sensor, which is it's very interesting, right? So it says not the car, the car too, but the device more so. Okay. But it says each sensor is also connected to what the team describes as a serpentine inconnector, which is a squiggly wire. The wires, yeah, look, see snakes. Okay, make that up, light it up, right? The wire snakes. See, women know what we're talking about, right? The wire snakes its way through the hair to a microprocessor that sends the brain signals wirelessly to the device that brain signals will control. It says the research team tested their system two ways. In the first, they broadcast user brainwaves to a computer running a telephone application. Oh yeah, they're really behind on technology. It says in the second, they sent brains. Well, South Korea, but you see, they're also working on one. I think, or at least I believe they said the company was in South Korea, but whatever. So it says in the second, they sent the brain signals to a pair of glasses worn by the user that served as a small display. The display was then used to control a smartphone application. And there's a video. We might play it. I'll finish this first because I know sometimes, because I'm using my second-hand device because I'm hooked up to a Wi-Fi here. All right. So it may cut me off. So just in case it does that, I'm going to just finish the article first. So it says, during testing, the team found their system was approximately 96.4% accurate, and that it remained stable and in place for up to 12 hours. They conclude by noting that their interface was designed in a such way to allow mass production, possibly making it available for millions of disabled people in the coming years. And that is where 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 comes in. Lying signs and wonders, right? This technology that seems great to people may be great, but the purpose behind it is much deeper. And these things are also generated from the left-hand side, which is all wickedness, man. Okay? I believe that's it. So we'll, how thoughts could one day control electronic prostheses wirelessly. Okay. So let's see what this video has. Let me crank up the volume. Oh, I got it in Do Not Disturb. Actually, I don't. Is this even part of the video? I mean, part of the article? There's going to be no sound. While walking, answering the video call while walking in the hallway. Basically using his brain, all right? And it's a form of so-called telepathy, man. Which Elon Musk is trying to name his company's device telepathy or something like that, I believe. Surname it or something like that. And that was it. I mean, we didn't necessarily need sound because I'm pretty sure he wasn't saying too much, but answering the phone call. But yeah, this is what these people are working on because these things all fall in line with their whole new system that they want to bring. But most importantly, it goes back to the scriptures, man. All right, Revelation chapter 13, verse 16, 17, and 18. All right, and what's part of what's mentioned in there is also the brain C-HIP devices, man. So, like I said, quick article. Like in case you're new, we constantly do these, all right, because it's all about keeping in line and keeping up, to the best of our ability with ESOS technology, because we know that micro C-HIP it's right around the corner, man. It's here, not even around the corner anymore. Okay, it's got one foot in the door, man. All right, and we know that has to come before the final things happen in this earth, and so we're looking out for it to the best of our ability. But with that being said, Lord, will you edify? Shalom.